Hello, Scorpio rising. Welcome to your Scorpio season forecast for Halloween, Samhain, which is New Year. I'm so glad you're here today. Thank you for joining in on this video. My name is Chloe, and the tarot deck we'll be working with today is the Jack-o'-lantern tarot, which is, um, it's very cute, but it's also spooky. It's beautiful. Um, yeah, a nice compliment, I think. Like the deck I'm working with personally, Tarot of the Vampires, might be like, I don't know, just a bit much right now, considering like all the astrological goings on. But yes, it is your season. The sun is activating your first house of identity, of self, of ego, and the new moon as well. New beginnings in the realm of identity, of ego. So yeah, it's a beautiful time to have a first host transit. There are definitely some drawbacks. So maybe like I will address those first. And I don't mean like necessarily drawbacks. It's just like when things are so intense, sometimes we don't know how to move. Um, there are a lot of things going on in the cosmos right now, like you have probably heard. The Mars-Pluto opposition in Capricorn and Cancer, that like face off of those two malefic energies, Lord of the Underworld versus God of War. So it could be, yeah, a bit much. If especially if you're like a deeply feeling, like perceptive person, as the Scorpio rising would tend to be quite, deep, quite perceptive potentially. Um, and there's also, of course, like, yeah, the cardinal cross with the last full moon. We're still, still dealing with that. There's the Venus and Saturn square. Many people are having like issues coming up that need addressing, invitations to reform how they are in relationship or who they are in relationship with. So many people, and this is like carrying over from Libra season, are encountering challenges in their own personal relationships as well. So yeah, I mean there is definitely yeah, a lot going on and a lot that's being asked to be resolved before we move into Sagittarius season, which of course the holiday season there is a lot more I'll just say like consumption, lots of like shopping, lots of eating, lots of like mandatory social activities, that sort of thing. So before we come into that period, it's important that we really empty out and release, and ideally spend some time in the void before we begin that like Jupiterian journey of like manifesting and accelerated growth and like all of that other stuff that Scorpio is just not. So for everyone, Scorpio season, of course, is about like death and rebirth, transformation. You have the natural cycles here on Earth, reflective of the cosmic cycles, reflective of our own individual cycles. So you just need to look outside to see that the trees are not grasping onto their leaves, right? They're letting them go. They're releasing what doesn't serve. This will, of course, provide compost, and then nutrients for like the new growth in the spring, right? So nature provides us, and the cycles of nature provide us with such great examples of like how to be, as we work our way through the wheel of the year. And by work our way through, I mean like, just live our lives, right? So, because Scorpio season is activating your first house in whole sign astrology, this is typically a time when you can shed old aspects of your identity and rebirth new, improved, more self-actualized aspects in that regard. Um, the difficulties I'm seeing are like you might be doubting your confidence on your new ways of being, your new aspects of identity, because the celestial energy, the cosmic energy, what's going on in the collective, all that turmoil is like very loud. It's very loud for you right now and can maybe even be distracting. So you're like, Some of you, my guides are saying, are just like, is it even worth it? Is it even worth rebirthing? Like, do I even take the steps in my new identity? Like, it's just another thing, right? But the answer is yes, of course. Like, this is your time to embrace new aspects of the identity. This is your time to release those outdated aspects, regardless of what's going on, outside of you. And at least being a Scorpio rising, you can see like what nature is doing. It is releasing, it is shedding. So I invite you to embrace that before before moving forward and embodying the new aspects, right? Releasing, resting in the void, and then manifesting and then building, right? Um my guides are saying that like you are your own greatest critic right now. Excuse me, I'm sorry. That no one is judging you as harshly right now, Scorpio rising, as you are judging yourself. So that's something to keep in mind. Like as usual, people are just like concerned about themselves. Everybody's looking at themselves, worried about themselves. Like no one is judging you harshly. No one is watching you under a microscope in the way that you are watching and judging yourself. So I'm not saying like no one's going to notice if you rebirth your identity, but like I mean, for better or worse, right? Like, because there is so much going on, you still want to be, in sync with the harmony of the astrology, in sync with the cycles of nature, with the of the cosmos. If this is how you live your life, if you choose to, whether you dabble in astrology, whether you are deeply embodied, first house activation, rising sign, sun season, this is a very potent time for you to, yeah, to look at those aspects. And I'm seeing like, for your cards, I mean, the Queen of Wands, this is the witch, right? She is like absolutely a sanctuary, a cove, if you will, for the parts of ourselves who go after what they want, right? Who follow their desires, who like feed the flame within, who follow that inner guiding light. So, like, this is you, whether we deny it or not. But we can also see through the Eight of Swords that you potentially are holding yourself back because it is a lot. It is a lot to change. It is a lot to heal. It's a lot to grow. And of course, we all know it's like easier to stay in the old ways sometimes rather than, stepping into our new selves, stepping into our higher selves. So this is just to remind us that like, yes, it's valid. You have your reservations. There's other things going on, but this is still your time. This is still your time to like step into that. I don't want to say like higher level, but more so like next chapter or like, merging even more succinctly with your higher self, right? And then the other card I have for you, this one's interesting because this has come up in, I think, three or four of the rising sign readings now. The Six of Pentacles. So this is definitely going to be something that, yeah, that I speak about in the collective energy forecast video because this is a reoccurring theme, the energy of this card, and not just for you, right? This is for yeah, three or four other signs as well. So this card for you in the context of what we're seeing astrologically, in the context of like reading this message in conjunction with the two other cards, definitely relates to the balance of not fully stepping into the new ways of being because we still need to discard old pieces, right? Like that there is a certain method, a certain structure that wants to be followed for you to have the success in embodying the higher self, embodying the higher frequencies, those new aspects. What they're showing me is like, if you don't surrender the old ways of being first, it's just like putting on a mask. The new self is just like putting on a mask, and you're not really like stepping into it. It's just like you're putting it on the surface, but then it might fall away, or you might not really believe it, or others might see through it. It's just a mask that you're putting on the new identity. Whereas if you take time to honor the pieces that don't serve, reconcile the oppositions that are asking to be reconciled, having that emptiness, that void time, then when you step into the new pieces of identity, that it's not just a mask, that you are truly truly able to or supported in embodying those aspects, right? Um, of course, there's always some like give and take and fake it till you make it. And we don't always have the time or energy to go through all the work of like emptying out. But that's really important right now. Um, it is the dark moon today and tomorrow. It's a dark moon in Scorpio. So now is the time for, releasing those aspects. Letting go of what doesn't serve us. That's true for everyone, but for you especially, considering this is your first house, the house of self, like this is important for you to, to consider, right? If what I'm speaking about is something that resonates with you. I would love to know your comments on these messages. I do feel really good about this month for you. Like I do feel like this is very positive, but I've also had to, keep it real because spirit always keeps it real with me. About like certain challenges there might be. And I don't ever want to be like, ignore what's going on in the world. Like it's not about you. I have found like the more I tune in and the longer I spend like living my life, it's not like, we fix ourselves first and like we do all this work like in isolation to like be a better person. And then through that, we'll like influence society and like we'll make our communities better. And like it's more like, you're making the community better. And then that in turn, like supports you in becoming like a better individual. Right. So I've had this like, script totally flipped around recently. Yeah, and it's really coming up quite a bit too. So I just yeah, want you to know that I see you. There is a lot going on. It is still your time. You're not ignoring your community. You're not ignoring the world. If you're like focusing on self and identity this month, that that is a part of it too. That's a big part of it for you as well too. So don't try not to hold yourself back. Because what they're showing me is what's holding you back more than anything else is yourself. So I just want to like gently, put that out there and absolutely please reply to this video. Leave me your comments or questions if you want to know more. I'm going to be posting the collective energy forecast as well too. So I hope to see you in that video. And promotion wise, I don't do like too much like Black Friday stuff because it is, of course, capitalism's most sacred holiday. So I try not to like participate too much in that, but I do know we're moving into Sagittarius, consumption, shopping, getting gifts for loved ones and stuff. So I just, of course, want to suggest I do have gift cards now available for my reading. So if you would like to, purchase a reading for yourself for a year ahead forecast, maybe take a little looky-loo at what's going on for you in 2025, or if you feel called to offer a session to a friend, a family member, a colleague as a Christmas gift, a Hanukkah gift, a solstice gift. I think that they make experiences like this just make amazing gifts. So please reach out if you are interested in that. And I wish you the most incredible Scorpio season. Happy Halloween, blessed Samhain, happy Witches New Year. I wish you all the best on your journey of embodying your new pieces of identities that are calling you now.